I want to say a little nice story that the Ben Ish Hai was one of the great minds of the Sephardic world. Beautiful guy. The Rabbi, the Sfas Emes, said that in one time by them in Poland there was a big Magefa, and he says, I want, please tell everyone to please study the Sefer Chavetz Chaim and work on Lashon Hara. Very important, we got to work on Lashon Hara. Let me tell you a story that happens with the Ben Ish Hai. It's amazing. There was a Sephardic businessman in Baghdad. My father-in-law was born in Baghdad, in Iraq. My father-in-law came to Israel when he was 3 years old and served in the Israeli army. In 5 wars, he was in intelligence. One of the most important people to them. He would be flown in behind enemy lines. There was a man in Baghdad, his name was Nissim Mizrahi. He had a big business deal and it went through. And he wanted to make a celebration. So he tells his wife, Sultana, let's make a party to celebrate. I made a few million dinar. I want to celebrate. She says, okay, what should we do for entertainment? Well, we're going to invite Nissim the clown. He was a little man, but he had incredible ability to make people laugh. They would stick him on top of a table, and he would just say joke after joke after joke after joke. But here's what he did. The jokes were not clean jokes. He would look at the audience and find something to make fun of people. So you can hear your friend being made fun of, your wife being made fun of, your husband being made fun of. And he had the audience laughing like crazy. And he would do this by making rhymes and poems. This was not a guy that had too much Yirat Shamayim. You wouldn't find him in shul. You wouldn't find him learning. But he enjoyed what he did. So there he was that night, in the middle of the party, up on the table, doing his comedy act with a glass of whiskey in one hand, and the other hand, he can point at people in the audience to make fun of them. Now he's going on for almost 2 hours, and the host approaches him and he says, Nissim, you know, you're working very hard. How about you stop a little bit to have a bite to eat? He says, sure. So he hands him, there was a plate of fish, fried fish. He took his fork, stuck it in the serving plate, put it in his mouth, kept eating and talking, which is against the halakha. You should not talk and eat at the same time, because guess what has happened? A fish bone went right into his throat. He turned blue, and suddenly he just collapsed. Boom! They tried to revive him. This is 150 years ago. They don't know anything about CPR. They're slapping him, they're throwing water on him, and he's dead. Sultana, the woman of the house, she says, oh my gosh, he died in our house. If the police come, they're going to say that we killed him and they're going to kill us. In an Arab country, there's no law and order. You killed, you're going to die. What should we do? And everyone started fighting with everyone. If the police comes, they're going to blame us. So somebody said, you know what, I have a great idea. They took his body and they carried his body for about, say, 50 feet, and they took it up the stairs, and they left his body standing in front of the house of the doctor of the town. His name is Ovadia the doctor. They propped him up on the wall, they knocked, and they ran down the stairs. Now it's about 2 in the morning, and Ovadia the doctor hears the knock, and he says, what's going on? Who's sick? He opens the door, and this man comes at him. So he thought he was a criminal. So he pushed in the other direction. And now they both go down the stairs, the doctor and the dead man. When he gets to the bottom of the stairs, he says, oh my gosh, he's dead. They're going to think I killed him. He doesn't know what to do. He goes back to his wife and he says, the guy's dead. I must have killed him because in the conflict. You following the story so far? So she gives him an idea. He says, take the body. There's a store that's opened in the middle of the night. I saw, the lights are on. It was the local tailor, an Arab. His name was Abu Jalal. That night, he was working overtime with his servants because the Sultan was about to leave the next day to go on a trip of several countries to visit. He ordered a golden robe, and he told them it has to be ready by 7 in the morning or it's off with your head. So they were working all night long. Meanwhile, Ovadia the doctor took the dead man and put him right by the front door. One of the workers was tired and he was yawning in front of his boss, just yawning. And the boss, got irritated. What's with all the yawning? He says, what should I do? I'm tired. Go outside and get some cold, fresh air and come back. As he's getting ready to go outside, he sees a man's face right in the front door. Right in the window. And he says, oh my, he comes back and he says to his worker, the other workers, there's a thief outside. What are we going to do? He's trying to come in and rob us. He goes, okay, take the hot iron. In the old days, they had hot sticks that are metal iron to press the fabric. Take the hot iron and hit him with it, or throw it at him. So he opens the door, he hits him with the iron, he collapses to the ground, and guess what he says? I killed him! No, what do I do now? Right? So he comes back to Abu Jalal, the head of the store, and he tells him what happened. He goes, they catch us, they're going to put us to death for killing a man. So they took the body and they put him next to a light pole and they ran away. A drunk man came and he says to the dead guy, how are you? You got a drink? And he's not answering him because he's dead. You got a drink? No answer because he's dead. So he takes his bottle and he hits him on the head and he crashes the bottle over his head, and at that moment the cops came. They dragged this drunk guy and they put him in jail. The next day, when he was no longer hung over, he said to him, do you know you killed somebody? I don't know, I don't even remember it. And posters go up all over Baghdad that this guy's going to be hung the next week for homicide. Listen to what happens. Alfonso Mizrahi, who was the host of the party, saw the poster. He comes home and he says to his wife, he died because of you. Now, it's not fair that an innocent man should be killed. We know the truth. It was you that killed him because of the fishbone. Go turn yourself in, he tells his wife, and may your death have a kapara for his death. So she goes and turns herself in. Ovadia, the doctor, saw the poster also. He says, oh my gosh, an innocent man is going to be killed because of me? I'm the one who killed him. And he turns himself in. And the man who worked for Abu Jalal, who saw the poster, says, I was the one who killed him. It's not fair that someone else should be killed because of him. And he turned himself in. Now we have 4 people who admitted to the same death. The judge is puzzled. He has no idea what to do. So he says to himself, there's only one person in the world who can help me explain this. I have to pay a secret visit to him. The judge is obviously a Muslim. He goes, I'm going to go speak to the Jewish Hacham, the Ben Ish Hai, Rabbi Yosef Hayim. So he secretly goes to him. Okay, the day the trial is supposed to be there, the trial, they're supposed to kill the man. The courthouse was packed in Baghdad. Everyone was anxious to see what's going to happen here. Everyone came to hear what the judge is going to decide. He says, ladies and gentlemen, we have before us 4 people who confessed to the same murder of the same man. And there's enough proof to find each one guilty. But ladies and gentlemen, they're all innocent, the judge says. Everyone was shocked and silent. And listen to what the Arab judge says. Nisim the clown died for his sins. He was convicted by heaven for the way that he speaks and the Lashon Hara that he speaks when he makes his comedies. I learned this from the great Jewish rabbi, the Ben Ish Hai, he says. Listen to what happened to him. We're going to be doing this on Yom Kippur, so wake up. Sekirah! Stoning. You know what happens in stoning? You push a guy from the 2nd floor. When he fell down the stairs, he was killed with sekirah. Seritha, burning. It's another form of capital punishment. He was burned when they put the hot iron on his head. Hereg, killing someone, which is one of the full capital. When he hit him with the bottle, that was hereg. And chenek, strangulation. Choking. How did he choke? The fishbone. The crowd, all the Jews and non-Jews alike, began to admire, wow. But the judge was quick to add, what I just said is not my own. It was the holy Rabbi Yosef Hayim, the Ben Ish Hai, who revealed the truth to me that this man died from the sin of Lashon Hara. And he got his just deserts.